your ability to succeed depends so much on trying something. If it works out, you do more of it until it doesn't work anymore. Then, if it doesn't work out, like, you fail fast, learn lessons, and then pivot into something else. That's like that, just those pivotal moments, like being in that state of, okay, I'm doing this, I'm not married to it. If it doesn't work the way I want it to, move on to something else, all right, and do something else.
If you are new to this channel, please support us by subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the bell. We publish it 3 times a week. Incredible tutorials, interviews, strategies, and all sorts of things to help you to grow your business. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Wake to Wealth show. I'm so excited. The person on the show today is a branding specialist for service-based business owners. So Bami, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Pam. How's it going today?
It's going good. You're my second interview today, and I'm really, really excited to interview you. You're a young man, you're sharp, you are well put together, you know what you're doing, and I think that you are going to bring a lot of value to our audience. So let's begin with you. Can you please share with our audience, what is it, who do you serve, and what is it you do for them?
Yeah, so like Pam said, I'm actually a business and personal branding strategist for people in the service-based industries. So we actually try to put together, or let me say, we package your expertise into high-ticket offers that you charge $2,000 plus for, and then give you the strategy to be the personal brand that pretty much communicates like the human side of it, your expertise, your skill, to build an audience, and also to sell your offers, and yeah, that's basically the summary of everything. Yeah.
Okay, you said it like it's that simple. It's not that simple. You've just
I know,
simplified
I
it.
know, I know. A lot of processes involved, right? Like, it's insane. The
Yes.
processes are crazy, but pretty much that's like the summary of everything. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Bami, so how long have you been doing that for?
Okay, yeah. So my journey has actually been in series, to be honest. But I started my, let me say, my business, like the path to being on my business journey in 2017. Okay. So I started out as a logo designer. I wouldn't say logo designer per se, but I started out as a designer, like confused designer. Okay, what should I do? Tried logo design, tried illustration, tried what else? Icon design. But finally, after a few months, logo design stuck with me. So I pursued logo design for, I think, about 2 to 3 years, before I now finally said, okay, I think I want to do something else. All right, so that's when I now started my brand strategy journey. And for my brand strategy journey, I decided to, okay, I've worked with so many people. I know exactly how to run a business. I know exactly how the kind of results I've actually gotten to my clients is. And I now pivoted again into being a business and personal branding strategist that I am right now. Who knows? Maybe
I
next
love
two
that.
years, something else might come up. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I love how fluid you are in the sense that you are, you don't mind pivoting. You're like, hope, maybe something else will come up. You're not married to this niche. And I find that this is where a lot of people struggle, where they have something that they're doing and they're saying, this must be it. This is the one that will, help me to hit my money goal. So can you just talk us through what is, how important is it, would you say, that when somebody is starting out as a service-based business owner, that they are open to more ideas? Like, how has that changed your business?
To be honest, I think that's the main thing that took my business to 6 figures. Okay, that's like a super important attribute that every entrepreneur should have, because you never want to be married to your strategy, to your ideas. You don't want to be married like you're in a close relationship with it, because you just never can tell. It might not work out the way you want. So your ability to succeed depends so much on trying something. If it works out, you do more of it until it doesn't work anymore. Then, if it doesn't work out, like, you fail fast, learn lessons, and then pivot into something else. That's like that, just those pivotal moments, like being in that state of, okay, I'm doing this. I'm not married to it. If it doesn't work the way I want it to, move on to something else. All right, and do something else. And the reason why that is so important is simply because this helps you focus your attention on the process and not the outcome. And you don't want to be focused on, okay, when you're married to your ideas too much, you focus so much on, okay, if I make a pivot right now, I don't want people to start looking at me like I'm an unserious person, I'm not consistent. Those are like outcomes in your mind. All right, another outcome can be something like, okay, I need to be able to do something for like at least 10 years before I'm able to make money from it and things like that. You never want to be in that state because you want to be focused on just the process. The process, look at it like you're playing a game. Okay, if it's no longer serving you, it's not something that you like. It's like there's always that intuition, right, in you that says, okay, you shouldn't be doing this. Just listen to it and then make that pivot and do whatever you have to do. Yeah.
Before my business got to where it is now, if I could tell you how many times I pivoted or changed my idea, and you're absolutely right. And I think that a lot of people get really hung up, and this is where self sabotage comes in, self doubt comes in, and they're like, well, let me do this for a little bit longer and, make sure that it works before I actually pivot. So 100% I agree with you. So I want to
Exactly.
talk a little bit more. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing again is like, and this is not to say that we shouldn't actually spend time in our like
Mm.
executing our ideas, like not at all. It's more like for me personally, if I'm doing something new in a business, I usually give myself about 6 months thereabouts to like, test it out. If it's not like within the 6 months, I'm not looking for an overly like, like a, a success that is just so over the place. All right, I'm just looking for
Yes.
small stuff that just can
Yeah.
sort of tell you that, okay, you're actually on the right track, or even if the success might not be so huge, but you start seeing all of those little traces of, okay, success here and there, so you pay attention to it. But
Yes.
if you're not seeing these things, if I'm not seeing these things for me within 6 months, I just be like, okay, I don't think this is going to work, and just move on to something else. So you give yourself adequate time to
Yes.
test out your direction for sure. Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up because you're right. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying just, switch up your idea every minute of the day. But on the point of what you have just shared, Bami, in terms of, the little bits of success that you want to see, I call it data personally. I like to see data. Data is what tells me that I'm on the right track. So, what kind of, let's share with our audience between you and I, what sort of data or success are you looking to see to help you to say, okay, I've validated this idea and it is the right way to go, or I have validated that this is not the right way to go? What sort of data or success are you looking for?
Man, that's a great question. I would say my data is actually based on three things. All right. So number one is my idea, who is willing to pay for it before I create it. Okay, that's a big thing, especially in business. Okay, so this is the reason why even when I have like new ideas to maybe create new offers, do whatever, I want to actually make sure I validate it within my audience first, and that is by, okay, saying this is the idea I have, this is what you're going to get from it, this is the process that's actually involved. Okay, but for me to be able to create it for you guys, you need to spend something up front, all right, so I can actually know how serious and how serious you guys really are about this. So that's number one. Number two is fulfillment. Okay, I think this is not even also talked about enough, to be honest. Like, you need to be very, very fulfilled about what you're doing. Because if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled about what you're doing, even when the results are not coming in the way you want them to, you start dreading the whole process. You start hating what you're doing. You start hating your business. You start hating yourself for it. And that's why, like, it's just important to be doing what makes you fulfilled beyond money. Something that speaks to you, something that be like, okay, like, beyond money, if there's no money involved, would I still be doing this? Exactly. Would it still be, will it still fill me up, like passionate and things like that? All right. And the last thing I look at, that I used to measure my data is basically engagement. Like, it's how people interact with what I'm putting out there. All right. So what I usually do is I pay so much attention to, let's say, for example, if I'm trying to come up with a new idea. All right. So the way I do it is, I just basically create like different content pieces around it, share that in my stories, share that on my feed on Instagram. Okay. Then I pay attention to what people are saying about it. Like now, I'm not saying like the content should have like thousands of likes or thousands of comments or hundreds of comments. It's more like
Yes.
what are people saying about it? Even if it's five people that actually
Yeah.
commented on it or three, what are they saying? Like, what is the depth of what they are saying? The comments, the DMs
Mm.
that are getting about this thing. That's what you pay attention to.
Mm.
When you pay attention to that, that sort of like leads you to the direction of, okay, I think I'm doing the right thing. I think this is what I should be doing.
I love that. So just to recap, the three things you shared in terms of data is people are willing to pay for it before you create it. And I think that is my absolute favorite. The second one was fulfillment. You've got to like what it is that you're doing. And the third one was, are
Mm-hmm.
people engaging with this? So I want to just break down each one by one. So let's talk about the first one, which is people are willing to pay for it before you create it. What are some steps that you would advise people to go on, in order to create a product first before, or pardon me, in order to sell a product first before creating it?
Okay, so the first thing you need to actually do is to work on your mindset, to be honest. Because a lot of people believe, like even me myself personally in the past, I believed that I needed to create something before people paid me for it. And that belief system was perfectionist in me speaking. That look like
Yes.
if it's not perfect enough, if you don't have it ready, nobody would ever pay you any money to make it happen, like to just buy
Mm.
it from you. So you need to settle in your mind and know that people can actually pay you for something that you haven't created. It just depends on
Yes.
how honest, how transparent, how authentic you are about it. You don't want to lie about that.
Mm.
All right.
Mhm.
So when you settle that part of your mind, what you then go ahead and do is if you have an audience, okay, when I'm saying having an audience, it doesn't mean like you have $10,000 as I mean 10,000 followers on Instagram or something like that. Some of my clients,
Mhm.
like literally, we've created like products with just like about 500 followers or even 800 that they did well. So
Oh
if you
yeah.
have an audience, all you just need to do is come up with like three different possible, maybe like offer ideas that you can create
Yes.
or possible problems you can solve for people. Come up with three of that, then poll them. Okay, ask them in the stories. Okay, which one would be a problem that you want to solve for yourself right now?
Yes. I
So
like
the
that.
one that people actually pick the most, okay, the one that people say, okay, this is the one I want the most, you just go ahead and rapidly put together like what exactly would this offer contain, what exactly
Mm.
would the messaging be, what exactly would the process be, how long will it take, what's the pricing and things. And I just put it together like on paper really quickly. You can spend like
Mm.
1 to 2 hours to put that together. When you're done doing that, then you now go ahead and work on the content, maybe like a 3 day content to just pre-launch that on your Instagram, for example, TikTok or whatever platform you're using to market your business. All right. So you now tell them in the content that look like I'm only looking for so number of people right here. The pricing for this is going to be the pricing. The pricing for this is going to be lesser because I'm pre-selling this to people. And if you get in, maybe
Yes.
you have like additional bonuses and things like that. Boom, you get like a
Mm.
few people in, you make content as well that just talks about the problem that that program will solve, put some storytelling in there about the reason why you came up with it, like just make it
Yes.
fantastic and engaging. And you have like a pre-sale period, maybe like 3 to 7 days, whatever works for you. You get the people in, then you also tell these people that look like maybe you are going to be creating the products like in the next 3 or 4 weeks for them, whatever. Then once that pre-selling period is over, just go ahead and then start creating your stuff. Then you launch it to the
Yes.
people, like you give it to the people that have already paid you, um, you know, after 4 weeks. Yeah. So basically
I
that's
love
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple. I love that. I love that. I want to move the conversation slightly onto your personal branding, which is what you do. And what one thing you shared at the beginning of this is how, you were able to take your business to six figures. I want to look at what is the connection between your personal branding and hitting six figures. What does it have to do with that? Can you share with us?
Okay. So personal branding is more like you branding your person, your personality. All right. So for me, one thing that contributed so much to my six-figure business is simply because I'm from Nigeria. All right. So Nigeria is known to be like a jungle, like crazy jungle, where the government is insane, very crazy things going on. But me being in Nigeria, still trying to actually build my business, still trying to do something for myself without being in that mind frame of, okay, look, like I want to escape, I want to escape, I want to go away, I want to go away, I want to get away, blah, blah, kind of like thing. And actually now making that work, like I'm using my personal brand now to sort of talk about my story, okay, of where I'm from and what I do, what I believe, and this connects with people a whole lot. People see themselves in, Now, when I'm saying connects with people a whole lot, it's not about maybe connecting with like other people in shitty environments or shitty situations, like physically. It can just be as simple as maybe people that are going through hard times, like hard things as well, like being in maybe like let's say like a hard relationship. They feel they are the only ones that can't make things happen in their families, all of those different hard things in one way or the other, wherever you are in the world, people connect with that and they start sort of like connecting to the type of person I am, my belief system. So they fall in love with the person I am, all right, then because of that, all right, like them coming on board to pay me for my services, my skill, is no problem because they've already loved the type of person I am. So, not shying away, but from those vulnerable stories, those messy stories, your personal brand is one of the things that just makes you so unique that nobody else has it in the world. Like whatever skill you have, whatever service you are providing, I'm pretty sure there are millions of other people, if not thousands, if not millions, like let's say thousands of other people providing that. But what makes you unique is you, like your personal stories, like your experience, where you are from. So we are able to just like I'm able to combine that with my skill, with my in my personal brand, and just the key thing that really really helps build the business up from what for where it is right now. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. I think if anybody has spent even 2 seconds with me, you would know that storytelling is pretty much, the method of conversion that we use. And I completely agree with you that once people have bought into you, they will be buying from you over and over and over again. However,
exactly.
Bami, we do have people who are comfortable sharing their story and they do it all the time, but they're not still connecting to that cash. What's missing for them, would you say?
Yeah, sure thing that there are a lot of people doing that actually. What is missing for them, I would say, story like telling your story is just a piece of everything. There's actually the part where you need to make sure you are telling your stories to the right people. All right.
Yes.
You have the right offers in front of people. You have the right
Mm-hmm.
messaging. You have the right
Yes.
pricing. All right. So you want to
Yeah.
make sure, like, okay, look at the storytelling part as more like a key part of your marketing. But if you don't
Yes.
have things like a great offer behind the scenes, you don't have, you've not clarified your ideal client enough to
Yes.
know them so well. Like you've not specialized enough on, okay, this is the type of person I want to go after. This is my price point. This is the type of brand I want to build. This is what my messaging is.
Yes.
This is what my offer promises. This is what the problem I'm solving for them is. Then nothing
Mm.
works. I think like that's the reason why a lot of people just they might be sharing their stories, but behind the scenes, they're not making any money because
Yes, they're not
it's
making
still
any
business,
money.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. No,
That's
you're
what it is.
absolutely right. Yes,
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. So, if I were to say to you, just one key takeaway for how to use your personal brand to build a six-figure business, what would your response be?
Like I said, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. My six figure success is not just about my personal brand. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of other different parts to it. So one thing is my business model. All right. So the business model matters a whole lot. For me, I'm more like this type of person that loves working with few people long term. So I'm more in the high tickets, work with me long term kind of like thing. So pretty much like let's say I think at the end of 2020, for example, is it 2020 or 2021? Within 6 months alone, I was just able to work with well, 10 to 13 clients thereabout,
Mm-hmm.
and those
Mm-hmm.
clients brought in over $100,000 in revenue for me. For me, so
Nice.
just like paying so much attention to your strengths, the kind of things that you want. Are you the type of person that wants to work with like more people, or you want to work with fewer people? So if you want to work with fewer
Mm-hmm.
people, then that means like your pricing can actually be higher, and you work on
Yes.
your business model a little bit. Now the personal branding part is just like it's more like the marketing thing, all right? It's more like the marketing strategy, the tool that you use to now sell that offer, to sell your business, to sell yourself. Okay.
Hmm.
But if you don't have a great thing to sell, nobody will buy it. It doesn't
Yes,
matter where
that's right.
it just it just starts turning into okay, well, we know you have a great story, but you don't have a great
Yeah,
offer, right? I can't spend money with you. And that thing again about
yes,
personal branding is that when I'm saying using your story, being vulnerable with your story is like the the parts that a lot of people actually make mistakes at is thinking you should be creating sub stories. You're not looking to create stories where people pity you and they cry for you.
yes,
No, like they look at you like, oh man, this person actually went through a lot. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you.
yes.
Can I come and pet you at the back and things like that? No, that's not what we're talking
No,
about.
no, no.
You need to make sure you need to make sure before you share any story, you share the lessons in there. You also share how you see like wherever hardship, maybe it's a hardship story or maybe it's a success story. Make sure you're not just sharing the story and just living it. You need to talk about your lessons, how you took it, the kind of
Yes,
kind of person that story has actually shaped you to has shaped your type of
to
person.
become.
This is
Mhm.
how exactly to become. This is how you make sure you're telling stories that might feel like, man, you're coming from a painful background, but you're equally saying, look, like, don't pity me. I'm a, it's like you being a hero of your story. Okay. You don't want to be a victim. You want to be the hero. Because
No.
especially when it comes to people
Yeah.
spending money with you, they want to spend money with somebody
Hmm.
that can help them. A victim can't
Yes.
help anybody. A hero can. All right. A guide
Yes,
can.
that's right. Yes,
So that's
that's right.
important. Yeah.
I love that. So, four things that I picked up from how to use your personal brand to build a six-figure business. Number one, have a great business model in the first place. Absolutely. Number two, focus on your strengths. Number three, have a great offer to sell. If they don't have something to buy, you're not going to make any money. And number four, tell empowering stories, not sub stories, which I absolutely like. Now, speaking about, using your personal brand to build a six-figure business, Bami, when was your wake to wealth moment? Like you shared, you're in Nigeria, you're a Nigerian who lives in Nigeria, and you're making six figures in dollars. When was the point when you realized, like, oh my God, like this is just amazing. My life has changed. When was that moment for you?
Well, funny enough, I think that moment was when I got paid $300 for logo design in 2018. Now, the moment was, I wouldn't even say that was even the moment, to be honest. That was more like the second moment. The first moment was because when I started my journey in 2017, I didn't start with, okay, I'm going to be creating a business out of this. I never knew people could actually even pay me for what I was doing for logo design. I
Me neither.
started based on I started based on, okay, man, I hated computer science from college. I didn't want to do it. What else can I actually be doing? So I could sort of like start getting away from that environment of like, studying what I didn't like. Yeah. So then that's when I started the whole design thing. And when I started, immediately I started publishing my work on Instagram. It didn't have to be perfect. I looked at Instagram like that place to help me document my journey.
Yes.
And just like 6 months, after 6 months of publicly documenting, just posting my work, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. I stumbled across somebody doing alphabet logo design series, letter A to Z. You design logos, six
Yes.
logos per alphabet, and So I did that. Then at the end of letter Z logo, I got somebody to reach out to me. That okay, look, can you help me design a logo for my company? Man,
Love
I was insane.
it.
I was like, I used to could pay me for this. Now the money was about just $50, to be honest. But it felt
Yes.
good, right? I was like, are you serious? Who could actually pay me for something that I didn't even know I could make
Yeah.
money from? Then, even though the project ended up being a nightmare, it took me 6 months to finish a $50 work. But it was
Wow.
like it was a aha moment for me that okay, if somebody could actually pay me, then definitely someone could pay me. Someone extra, like some other people could pay me. That was the first step.
Yes.
Now the first step that really opened my eyes to, the $50 story is more like the first step to me knowing that somebody could actually pay me.
Mm.
But the second thing that made me know that somebody could actually pay me more
Yes.
when I'm not like working crazy hours. Like I'm not spending so much. I'm not using 6 months. for logo design was
Yes.
when some clients from Australia they reached out to me on Instagram. They were like, "Bami, we've been trying to design our logo for months, for weeks. We even tried like this designer. They didn't just come up with what we liked. And these guys, I only literally did about 2 to 3 hours of work, and they paid me $300 for it. I was like, okay, okay, that's good. And that opened my
I
eyes
love
to
that.
okay, I could charge more. Like there are a lot of people that can pay me a lot of
Yeah.
money to to grow the business to just like help them out, and that was
Yes.
the real aha moment for me. Yeah,
Do you know what I love about that is that both of those stories, I felt like it was baptism by fire. I mean, for the first one, you're doing these, creating 6 logos per letter of the alphabet, and you had to get to letter Z before somebody actually reached out to you. That is just crazy.
right.
Like you did all of the work, and with 26 letters in the alphabet times 6, that's a lot of logos that you were creating. So
Exactly.
that 6 months of $50 wasn't actually just 6 months of $50. There was a lot of background work, baptism by fire that went in. And then, of course, you had a moment, when somebody actually paid you a lot more for a lot less time. And, it's brilliant because it just shows you how people pay based on value, not based on time, which is brilliant. So,
Exactly.
Bami, we've come to the point of the podcast that is called Wildcard. So, for anybody who's watching this for the first time, wildcard is a moment where I'm going to ask Bami to choose any number between 1 and 5. And I have a series of questions here. And whatever number he chooses, I will ask him the question. Now, just to let you all know, Bami does not know what these questions are. Do you, Bami?
Of course not. I don't.
At this stage, people get very, very nervous. Don't worry, Bami. These are questions that I believe you can answer, but they're fun questions from our audience. So, can you choose for
Okay.
me any number between 1 and 5?
Can I choose 3.5?
3.1. Unfortunately,
So
I don't
so
have a
maybe
number there.
so maybe you combine question number 3 and 4 together.
All right, so let's do two.
I'm
Let's
choosing
do two
three.
questions then. Yeah, let's do second. We'll do two
No,
questions. We'll do
no,
question
no.
3 and 4.
Oh my God. No, I was like, just make that to become one question. But number three.
Number
I think
three.
number three
Okay,
works.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so number three. Number three. Ooh, number three is a good question, Bami, and I hope you can answer this, and I'm sure you will. So number three says, I live in Kenya and I have a very strong accent. I often worry that when I promote my business online and people hear my accent, that they won't be investing in me. What would you say to me and how do I get over this? Good question, right?
Man, that's an amazing question that I actually created content on like 3 weeks ago, actually. So
We
thank
are
you
on
for
fire.
asking
We are
that
in
question.
sync. Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, your accent means nothing, to be honest. I have accent myself. Like I'm a Nigerian. I'm a Konk Yoruba person from the western part of Nigeria. All right. But the thing is, your accent is not really the problem, okay? It's not really, your accent is not what is making you concerned. The real thing making you concerned is the fear of judgment, all right, and rejection by people. And that's what you need to address. That fear of rejection and judgment is what you need to address. So now, I wouldn't tell you to not care about what people think of your accent, all right? Of course, like you should actually care about what people think. If you don't care about what people think, it's just you lying to yourself. For me personally,
True.
even as of now, like I've been able to be like 100,000 followers on Instagram, I still care so much about what people think. But what makes me consistently put myself out there still with my accent, a Nigerian accent, is simply because I focus more on what my mind says and not what my heart says. Your heart will tell you, your heart tells you that okay, you have you have an accent, all right? You should care about what people think of your accent. Then because of that, now go back to your shell and don't consistently talk about what you do. That's what your heart will tell you because your heart is emotional. But the mind will tell you that okay, you care about what people think, that's fine. But don't you think that being in the same place that you are right now, not making your message to be known by people, not marketing your business, not actually being in that situation, the lifestyle that you want to be living, don't you think it's more detrimental than what people think? So it's like the mind tells you that, okay, look, like being in the same space, it's more problematic than what people think. So you follow the mind and not the heart. Okay? Yeah, that's it.
I love that. I get that question all the time. In fact, an extension of that question is, Pam, how do I change my accent? And I always say, no, you don't need to change your accent. You don't need to become somebody else. You don't need to become Pam or somebody else. No, you need to do you. What do you want to say
Exactly.
to that, Bami? Yeah.
So the thing is, I personally feel that people with accents, right? You actually have more leverage than people with. I think everybody even has accent in the world. Let's be honest.
Yes,
There's British
we all
accent,
do.
there is American accent, but
That's
like
right.
that's what makes us different. That's what makes you peculiar.
Unique. Yes.
And what makes you unique? And if you literally have accent, you already have like an edge above everyone else in the industry because there's something distinctive about you. There's something different about you. So there's no point in trying to like want to change your accent. Why would you want to change it? Like it makes no sense. To be
Yeah.
honest, especially when you can literally create an amazing story from there. You can literally be vulnerable with people. You can
Yes.
literally create amazing success story from your accent. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a mindset thing, isn't it? It's you seeing that accent as a value add, as opposed to it's taking something away from you. And what I always say is, we all have an audience. Whatever accent you have, whatever color of skin you are, however tall or not tall or slim or not slim or whatever it is, there is an audience waiting for you. Why would you delay your inevitable success? Because you're busy getting in your own way, right?
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Bami, if people
That's
want to
dead.
find you to say hello, where can they find you?
Instagram is the main thing. At the Bami underscore THEBAMI underscore on Instagram. Yeah, and I feel if you also want to be able to build a business like attract this type of clients that you want, I make content every day on Instagram that helps. So you can check that out, and I'm always there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I love that. Go ahead and say hi to Bami. Let Bami know that you found him on the Wake to Wealth show with me, your host, Pamela Bassa. Bami, it's been wonderful having you. Thank you for bringing the gems, for bringing the value, and for having some very tough conversations with me that I know a lot of people are going to absolutely resonate with. So from one Nigerian to another, from a whole different part of the world. We both live in very, very different places, but understand each other on a very different level. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you for the invite, Pam. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you once again for joining me on this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And before you go, take a look at the pieces of content on the screen right now, where we walk you through various strategies to scale your business. So don't go away, jump into any of the cards on the screen right now.